Why everyone is talking about Mamdani versus Cuomo.
It's all BS because the mayor doesn't have the power to do it anyway. The Rent Guidelines Board does, and he doesn't control the Rent Guidelines Board.
Mr. Mamdani, you want to respond?
If you want a candidate for mayor who tells you everything that he cannot do, then Andrew Cuomo should be your choice. If you want a candidate for mayor who will use every tool at their disposal, including the 9 appointees at the Rent Guidelines Board, all of whom are appointed by the mayor, then I am the candidate for you.
I'm not even a political person, okay? But this whole thing with Mamdani versus Cuomo, it's everywhere on my feed. And I get it now because it's not just about politics, it's about energy. It's about people finally seeing someone who actually looks like them, talks like them, and rides the same subway as them.
The name is Mamdani, M-A-M-D-A-N-I. The name is Mamdani, M-A-M-D-A-N-I.
Yes, so I'm just going to share what I've been seeing on TikTok, what people are saying, and why it's going viral. So there's this debate, Mamdani versus Cuomo. Cuomo, this old school politician, been around forever. Mamdani is this young Muslim New Yorker who's like shaking the whole thing up. And before the debate, I saw a clip. He's literally on the subway. No fancy car, no bodyguards, just regular people around him. That already told me everything about his vibe. Then in the debate, he goes right for it, says something like, "It look losing to a Muslim candidate for you to finally visit a mosque." And I saw some people were criticizing his statement that why Cuomo has to visit a mosque. They were actually really angry about it, and I'm going to share some of the comments. The double standards that we see here.
I don't think in any way the assemblyman is representative of the Muslim community, which is a vital community in New York, and I am very fond of and I've been working with. I think he's playing his own politics. Many of his positions don't even follow the Muslim faith.
It took Andrew Cuomo being beaten by a Muslim candidate in the Democratic primary for him to set foot in a mosque. He had more than 10 years, and he couldn't name a single mosque at the last debate we had that he visited. And it took me to get you to even see those Muslims as part of this city. And that, frankly, is something that is shameful and is why so many New Yorkers have lost faith in this politics.
Muslim socialist Zohran Mamdani criticized Andrew Cuomo for not visiting a mosque. What in the actual F? Since when do American politicians have to go visit a mosque in order to be considered viable candidates for office?
Then in the debate, he goes right for it. He says something like, "It took losing to a Muslim candidate for you to finally visit a mosque." And when I saw that clip, I was like, wow, that's not just a line, that's a statement. That's someone saying, you ignored us until now. And now we are here next to you. So why are people obsessed? And the reason people are going crazy over it is because he feels real. He's a glimpse of hope. He's not out here backed by some big corporation. You can see it. It's regular people, young people, the kind of crowd that don't usually care about politics, but they care about him. You've got these TikTok accounts editing his speeches, making memes, posting street interviews. Like his whole campaign basically lives on social media. It's not some big TV ad operation. It's people, regular people, you and me. And it is working because people are tired of politicians saying things cannot change. Mamdani is saying, why not? And that energy, that mix of boldness and hope, it's addictive.
In 2021, 13 different women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political. You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening. You sought to access her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
Let's talk about the debate energy. The debate itself felt wild to watch. Cuomo came in with that experienced leader energy, right? He tried to talk down on Mamdani like, you're young, you're idealistic, you have no experience, you don't get how the system works. But Mamdani wasn't having it. He hit back. Direct, calm, but strong. It wasn't just about religion when he talked about the mosque or Muslims. It was about representation. It was like saying, you don't get to ignore us anymore. And you could feel that what New Yorkers felt. People are fed up with being talked at. They want someone who listens, who is in it with them. Why this movement feels different? Here's what really stands out for me. Mamdani is not pretending to be perfect. He's not out here doing those fake photo ops with babies, shaking hands on cameras. He is in the middle of people, on the subway, at protests, at community events, eating biryani with his hands, and he looks comfortable. And that matters because people can tell when something's staged and when it's real.
You're going to have to vote Cuomo. I'm sorry. How are we going to elect this guy, this imam-loving, this terror-loving, imam-loving Mamdani as the next mayor of New York? I'm sorry. It's disgusting, but I have to go with the guy who's going to like harass me and kill off grannies over the guy who wants to like potentially actively turn New York into one big mosque.
I have never, not once, spoken in support of global jihad. That is not something that I have said, and that continues to be ascribed to me, and frankly, I think much of it has to do with the fact that I am the first Muslim candidate to be on the precipice of winning this election.
His supporters are mostly young, Gen Zs, early millennials, and they are literally running his campaign from their phones. Like they are not waiting for CNN to show them what's happening. They are the ones making the content that's making him go viral. It's people power. That's what's making him stand out. The other side and the reality check. Now look, I'm not saying he's a saint or that this is some fairy tale. But let's be real. Charisma and authenticity are great. The question is, can Mamdani actually run a city like New York? That's what we'll see. Because speeches are easy and he is a great speaker, but systems aren't. And when you represent a community that's often misunderstood, Muslim, immigrant, working class, you don't get the luxury of messing up. That's the tough part of being the first. Everyone is watching you for mistakes. One other thing about Mamdani is that he's not only representing Muslims, he is representing the working class. Young people, new energy, even older people, working class who have difficulty paying for grocery, who have difficulty paying for rent because of high rent prices. And that's one of his goals. He's claiming that he's going to freeze the rent. And it has happened in New York in the past. So it is very doable. So it's not about religion. It's not about culture. It's about those who have influence, money, power for ages and the working class like us.
Money speaks. And Mamdani has made it clear. I don't know if you saw the paper today. You have the billionaire class in New York City at a meeting. They just met today, sitting around saying, all right, we are prepared to do is spend as much money as we can in order to defeat Mamdani. So what you have is an oligarch group in New York. But you know what they're worried about? They're not just worried about Mamdani. If Mamdani wins in New York, the idea will go all across the country. That in fact you can take on the oligarchs and you can beat them. That at the end of the day, grassroots organizing, ordinary people, working class people, standing up and fighting back are more powerful than the oligarchs and all of their money. That is what the oligarchs are afraid of. That's what the Republicans are afraid of. That is what I fear the Democratic leadership is afraid of.
He reminds me of Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is a Jew and so many Muslims love him. And that's exactly how I see Mamdani. He is Muslim, but so many Jews support him. I want to do my reflection and what hit me hardest. When I was scrolling and saw him just standing in that subway car, hoodie, backpack, surrounded by people, it reminded me of something. Representation isn't just about who's in power. It's about who feels seen. Like for so long, politics has been a bunch of people talking about us, not to us. And watching someone like Mamdani, you realize people are hungry, not just for change, but for connection. Even if you don't agree with all his ideas, you can't deny he is connecting. And that says something huge about where the world is right now. So yes, I'm not here to tell you who to vote. I'm not here to act like I know all the politics. I'm not here to say that I'm right. I'm just saying there's a reason this debate and this man are all over your feet. People are tired of being invisible. They are tired of politicians who live in a different world. And when someone shows up, takes the same subway and still stands their ground on that stage, it hits different. So maybe it's not just politics anymore. Maybe it's a shift, and whether you like him or not, it's worth paying attention to. If you've seen any of those clips on your For You page, drop the one that hit you the hardest. I want to see what moments stood out for you too.